Welcome to Middle Math Academy's Distributive Property, level number 2. This is part of our differentiated series where we have 5 levels of challenge for every topic. Let's get started. Make sure your name is at the top of this paper. Let's go ahead and take a look at our learning targets. I can write equivalent expressions and combine like terms using the distributive property, and I can draw a model to represent the distributive property. Before we get started, go ahead and rate yourself 1 through 5 on our learning targets, 1 being the least confident and 5 being the most confident. At the end of the lesson, we'll come back and we'll rate ourselves after we've gotten some more practice. Let's go ahead and get started with some examples. Let's take a look at example number 1. The number on the outside of our parentheses, this 2, that's called our coefficient, and it tells us how many groups there are. So in this example, we have 2 groups of 4x plus 2y. So since we are drawing a model here, I'm going to start by writing x 4 times to represent 4x. And then I'll write 2y. So we can start by writing what's on the inside of the parentheses. Then we know there's 2 groups, so we'll just write it a second time. 4x plus 2y. Now, when I write my equivalent expression, I can see that we have 8x plus 4y. If you want, you could make boxes with your model too, but you don't have to. It represents the same thing. You cannot combine your equivalent expression at the bottom to be 12xy. The final answer is 8x plus 4y. Go ahead and practice example number 2 on your own. Then come back to the video. For example number 2, we have 3, that's our coefficient, groups of 2m plus 3r. So I'll write m 2 times, and I'll write r 3 times. And then I'll just repeat that since we have 3 groups. And then my final equivalent expression will be 6m plus 369r. Go ahead and complete example 3 and 4 on your own. This video will not go over those 2 problems. Let's take a look at our notes. So we know the distributive property lets us know how many groups of terms we have. Another way to think of it is the distributive property means multiplying the number on the outside of the parentheses, so the coefficient, by each term on the inside. Make sure you're writing with me. Remember, when parentheses are next to a number, it means multiply. So I'll do an example with you. If I look at the bottom, it says example A, 3 times h plus 6. So I'm going to multiply 3 times h, which is 3h, bring down the plus, and then I'll do 3 times 6, which is 18. That is my final answer. A common mistake I see is that people will combine this and write 21h. 18 does not have any h, so we have to leave it by itself. This is our final answer. Go ahead and complete example C, then come back to the video to check your work. For example C, you should have done 7 times g, which is 7g. Bring down our plus. 7 times c is 7c. This is our equivalent expression. Go ahead and complete example B and D on your own, and then if your teacher is asking you to, check in with them to get their initials and feedback. Go ahead and complete problems A and B on your own, then come back to the video to check your work. Let's zoom in on problem A. When we're writing an equivalent expression, we're going to multiply 4 times m, which is 4m, bring down our minus. 4 times 5 is 20. This is our final answer for our equivalent expression. Let's check our work for B. For problem B, you should have done 2 times 7a, which is 14a. Bring down our plus. We have 2 times 3n, which is 6n. This is our final answer. Go ahead and complete the rest of page 2 on your own, and then check in with your teacher if they want you to. Let's take a look at page 3. Go ahead and complete A through F on your own. Then come back to the video. Let's take a look at problem G. We know that parentheses mean multiply. So we're going to multiply this 6 on the outside times 6, which gives us 36. So then I'll ask myself, 6 times what number will give me 12? Well, 6 times 2 is 12. So once again, 6 times 6 is 36, and 6 times 2 is 12. Go ahead and complete problem H, then come back to the video. In problem H, I know parentheses means multiply. 11 times 7 is 77. And 11 times blank is 33. Well, 11 times 3 is 33, so that's what'll go in the blank. Go ahead and complete the rest of page 3, and if your teacher wants you to, check in with them to get feedback. Let's take a look at the top of page 4. Our notes say you can simplify expressions by combining like terms. Make sure you're writing with me. And you can only combine terms that have the same variable. So if there's more than one A, you can combine all of your A's, you can combine all of your B's, and so on. So let's look at this example right here. I'll zoom in a little bit. We have 2 times 3A plus 4B plus 5A. So now we have 3 terms, but we're still going to treat it the same way. We're still going to multiply 2 times all 3 terms. So I'll start by doing 2 times 3A, which is 6A. Make sure you're writing with me. Then I'll do 2 times 4B, which is 8B. And then 2 times 5A, which is 10A. Okay, so this is similar to what we've already practiced, except now we had 3 terms. Now that we have this, I can look and say, oh, okay, well, I have 6A and then another 10A. So because they're the same variable, I can combine them to make 16A. So now I can rewrite this as 16A plus 8B. Let's practice another one. Let's take a look at example A. So we know parentheses means multiply. So we're going to take our coefficient on the outside of our parentheses and multiply it times each term on the inside. So we'll start with 4 times 3J, which is 12J. Make sure you're writing with me. Bring down our plus. 4 times K is 4K. Bring down our plus. And 4 times 5J is 20J. So that's our first answer. Then we'll combine our terms that have the same variable. So we have 12J plus 20J, which is 32J plus 4K. And I just brought that down after I combined my J's. So here are the 2 answers for example A. Go ahead and complete example B on your own, then come back to the video. For example B, here's what you should have gotten for your first answer. Then we can combine our terms that have the same variables, which are x. We have 16x plus 8x, that's 24x, plus we'll bring down our 80y. And we can write our terms in alphabetical order, so x comes before y. Go ahead and complete C and D on your own, then come back to the video. The video will not check those answers. Let's take a look at E. It says select all of the expressions that are equivalent. You're going to treat this problem the exact same way that we've treated our previous problems. You'll multiply 3 times 4A, 3 times 2B, and 3 times B. Remember, if it says select all, it's guaranteed that there's more than one answer. So go ahead and complete the rest of E, then come back to the video. For E, when you distribute the 3, we get 12A plus 6B plus 3B. So there's one of our answers. And then we can combine our 6B and 3B to get 9B. So we also have 12A plus 9B, the second choice. Complete the rest of this page, then check in with your teacher if they want you to. Complete page 5, then come back to the video. This video won't go over A through D, but I do want to take a look at problem E. To select all of the expressions that are equivalent, and you notice there's no parentheses, we're not multiplying, we're adding. So whenever we're adding variables, sometimes it helps to write out our variables. For example, if I have 7h, I can literally write h 7 times. And then I have another 2h here, and then just 1h over here. So if I have 7 plus 2, that's 9, plus 1, that's 10. So we have a total of 10h plus, and then we have 3 plus 7. Those don't have h's, so they're going to stay separate, and we have 10h plus 10. Okay, so we can select this right here. Now, whenever you see parentheses, we always want to multiply our expression out to see if it's equivalent. So we have 10 times h, which is 10h, plus 10 times 1, which is 10. So this expression is also equivalent. If that affects any of your answers for F through H, go ahead and fix those. Then check in with your teacher if they want you to. Go ahead and complete page 6, then come back to the video. This video won't go over all of these problems, but I do want to look at example C. Maxie and Tyson are asked to write an expression equivalent to 10 times 2r plus 3d. Who is correct and why? Remember, this is the common mistake students always make. The right answer here is Tyson is correct. Maxie incorrectly combined different variables. So when you multiply your expression out, 10 times 2r is 20r, and 10 times 3d is 30d. You cannot combine these to make 50rd. You have to keep different variables separate. If they were both r, it was 20r plus 30r, you could combine them. To close out today's lesson, make sure to complete the debrief. In your own words, what did you learn today? How much effort did you put in during class? Rate yourself, with 1 being the lowest effort, 5 being the highest, and explain. What do you think is a common misconception a student might make on today's lesson, or a common mistake? Once you've answered our debrief questions, at the beginning of today's lessons, we rated ourselves on our learning targets 1 through 5. Now that we've finished, you're going to rate yourself after the lesson on page 1. 1 is the lowest, the least confident, 5 is the most confident. And then, of course, don't forget to get your teacher's initials if that's the directive they're giving. Thank you for joining us today at Middle Math Academy, where we practiced Distributive Property level number 2. This is part of our differentiated series where we have 5 levels of challenge for every topic. If you're looking for any additional practice, make sure to check out level 1, 3, 4, or 5. Thank you for joining us and have a wonderful day.